Welcome to another episode of LeapCast, a Leadership Pensacola podcast. I am your host, Mike White, class of 2024, here this episode with none other than Todd Thomson, President and CEO of the Pensacola Chamber. Todd, how are you?
I'm great, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you doing this. So tell me a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about where you started, where you've been, where you're at now.
Okay, so born and raised in Tallahassee.
Okay.
And went to college in South Carolina, but moved back in the mid-'90s and got involved with government and politics in Tallahassee, which is kind of a natural fit. Did that for about 15 years and then had the opportunity in 2010 to move to Pensacola following the BP oil spill.
Okay.
They were looking for a government relations liaison, someone who knew the folks in Northwest Florida, kind of understood the politics here and had some connections. So I took that job, moved to Pensacola in November of 2010, did that for 3 years, and then started at the Chamber shortly after that, and have been at the Chamber for 9.5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. Now, you've been president and CEO for, I think, like 5 years now. I think 2019 is when you started. I remember I was actually talking to Lico in the last episode about, I was watching that interview just to kind of see where you've been and where you're at now. And it's crazy that was 5 years ago.
Right.
But so tell me a little bit about, what Leadership Pensacola is. So that way anybody who's watching this that might not have been in Leadership Pensacola before knows, but also where it's been and where we're looking to take it.
Absolutely. So Leadership Pensacola, or as we affectionately call it, LEAP,
Leap.
started in here in Pensacola in 1983. So just over 40 years of LEAP, and probably over 2,000 folks have gone through the program. And it is what the what the name says. It is a leadership program where you spend 10 months. If you're in the class, you spend 10 months going through, and each month you have a different day. And the day will focus on one aspect of our community. So you'll have healthcare day, you'll have education day, you'll have civics and government day, military day, all those aspects of our community that you will hear from the experts. You'll delve into what that looks like from the inside, and really gets you ingrained in our community, gives you the behind-the-scenes look at what makes our community tick, and gives you that opportunity also to connect. We now have 55 members in each class, so you get to connect and bond with those other 54 folks and make lifelong contacts and friends that you'll keep in touch with for the rest of your career.
Yeah. No, it's a phenomenal program. I mean, thinking about each day that I personally went through, 10 months of the program, it sounds like a long time, but it flies by so quickly because it's just so much fun. And when you say behind the scenes, it really is behind the scenes. I know we went for healthcare day, I went to Andrews, and they literally let us stick our fingers in cadavers, in cadaver knees. And
I don't know if I'd do well with that.
Yeah, it was a little suspect at first, but it's very interesting to see, what's going on in the community, literally behind the scenes, the stuff that a lot of people don't really get to see until it actually comes to fruition. So I think that's pretty cool. But as far as what you see for that program in the years to come, is there any big picture ideas that you have or anything that you see for the program in particular?
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to Quinn Bro, who runs LEAP as the staff person for the chamber, and he's done a phenomenal job and has really put his stamp on what is happening, and then I think the potential growth. So if you look at some things that are starting and starting to get their legs underneath them, you've got Leadership Pensacola alumni. Like I said, there's over 2,000 people have gone through the program, and a lot of them are still in our community. And so getting those folks who have gone through the program and loved it during their time, getting them connected to the folks who are going through it now or recently completed the program like yourself, I think that's just another great way to, kind of bring people together, potentially work on projects or things in our community. But, it's just that is just a tremendous resource that we have, to know that there are that many people who've gone through the program and that are still here. And so many of them are engaged, that they work on a day. They'll manage it, and they'll have volunteers that work with them. And that's the thing. If you're someone who is a LEAP alumni and you're engaged, they're doing this on their own time. So each day, while Quinn manages it from the staff side, each day is head up by volunteers, and those folks, they plan the day, they get the speakers, they get the locations, they figure out all of that, and then you have your agenda set out, and they walk you through the day.
Oh yeah, it's quite a task. But you mentioned the project, and my project specifically was Valerie's house.
Okay.
And I told Lico in the last episode the impact it's had on me, because during the Leadership Pensacola program, my mother actually passed away, and Valerie's house is a peer-to-peer counseling program for children who have lost loved ones. It allows them to, be around other kids who are going through the same thing, so they don't have to feel like they're alone. And it holds a much deeper meaning for me. So share a little bit about the projects that have occurred over the past 5 years while you've been in charge, 10 years while you've been here, really. Some of the ones that you see have had a lasting impact.
Right. And that's a great point. It's what we want to see, is have these projects, sustain and have a lasting impact. If you've ever been around Summit Boulevard and 12th Avenue around the airport, there are stations with exercise equipment. So there's a path that you can take around the airport and do fitness exercises as you walk along, and so that's been a nice sustaining project. I'm on the board of the Gulf Coast Kids House, and one of the projects a few years ago was a video. And Lico, did you work on that? Yeah.
We talked about that.
Yeah. So they created a video training that you can take to your employees and, let them know, you go through this training, it teaches you how to see evidence of abuse, be on the lookout for it, and how to report it, and make sure that if there are incidents that those are handled properly. I think Valerie's house will have a lasting impact. Krista's done a phenomenal job there, and
another LEAP alumni as well.
Yeah. So, but and that's the thing. And one of the things that's changed is we used to do multiple projects a year, and it seemed like we didn't quite have the impact. But now, a class having one project that they can focus on, I think, really helps. It makes it more robust and gives it a better chance for having a longer lasting impact.
Absolutely. And Lico and I were actually talking in the last episode, about his class. They did 3 projects, and our class did the one, and we kind of had that same mentality. Was, we really wanted quality over quantity. Granted, we would love to do as many projects as we possibly can in a 10-month span to really better the community, but really putting our heart and soul into one project and allowing that to kind of be our baby, our brainchild, so to speak, really allows it to kind of grow the way it needs to grow. And our office is actually right around the corner from Valerie's house. And I was telling Lico, unfortunately, I spent too much time at Krispy Kreme, which is right behind Valerie's house. But being able to drive by it as often as I do and really see that, it feels like a piece of me is like within the community. So it's actually, it's really cool to see. But as far as, the programs, the curriculum days, do you have one in particular that you think is most impactful?
Ooh, that probably varies from person to person. I'm, my background, as I mentioned, is government and politics, so I always enjoy the Tallahassee trip.
Oh, the Tallahassee trip was phenomenal.
Right.
I was telling Robin Zimmern, who was, I think at the time, she was our chair, our project chair, I think it was. But I was telling her, I was like, I think I'm wanting to get into politics at
Oh,
some
okay.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes. I don't know. But I mean, it's really cool to see the inner workings and the behind the scenes of all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I will say, we have NAS Pensacola here, but folks don't really know exactly what happens on the base. And I mean, the museum's there and, the Blue Angels and those types of things. But I think that's a real eye-opening day for folks to be able to go on the base, spend the day, and hear directly from the base commander. And it's not just Navy. You've got Air Force, you've got Marines. So learning about that, I think, is something that's really beneficial.
Yeah, Shashadi he's a great guy.
Yeah,
He's so funny.
Yeah.
He is hilarious. But getting to actually like immerse ourselves that day and like eat in the galley with those guys, like you really feel a part of that experience. But when it comes to, joining the program, I guess, what is the ideal candidate for the Leadership Pensacola program? Because for me, I think at face value, it feels like it should be a program for somebody who's already in a leadership position and is willing to build themselves. But Scott Laidline on the Monica Sanford podcast actually made a really good point that everyone's going to be in a leadership position at some point in their life. So share a little bit from your perspective what you think, a good candidate for the program is.
Yeah, I think it's someone who, has moved along in their professional career. They're not brand new, not straight out of college, but someone who's been, in a professional role, but is also engaged with the community.
Yeah.
They've demonstrated that they want to be a leader because they're working with nonprofits or they're donating their time to read to kids or, those types of things. And I don't, some people think, well, it's for people who are maybe like in their 30s or 40s. And I don't want it to be pigeonholed like that. I mean, you could be in your 20s and, have really demonstrated that you deserve to be in the program.
Absolutely.
But you might be in your 60s or 70s and, you feel like, oh, that's for the young people. It's like, no, but it's really an opportunity. I mean, we had Chris Martin, who was a former base commander, went through the program after he had finished his tour here.
Yeah.
So, it's a real opportunity. Again, I've had people who've lived here their entire lives tell me, I had no idea that's how the education system was run in Escambia County, or they learned a fact. I think the school district uses 30,000 gallons of fuel a day to get the school buses around. They're like, I had no idea. People who've lived here their entire lives are like, I went through the program and learned so much about Pensacola, Escambia County that I had no idea about. And so I would say, someone who, you've been in your career for a while, you've got some experience, you've been connected to the community, but you're ready to learn more and get that behind the scenes look.
No, absolutely. Now, when it comes to the program, a lot of those folks are a lot of them end up actually being, leaders in the community, people who are, presidents, CEOs, C-level executives at their companies, but also chamber members, which that's where you come in. So tell me a little bit about what the chamber's got going on as far as current initiatives, where y'all are going. I think Pensacola 2030 is getting really close.
Yeah. That's it, almost halfway through the decade and trying to meet some goals that will be here by 2030. We've got a number of jobs we got to keep filling. We want to make sure that our education system continues to improve. And I mean, it's very encouraging to see the school grades from the past year. But some areas that we're really focused on here at the chamber right now, one is workforce development. That's a real need in our community and something I hear about almost every day is just the need for workers. So in conjunction with Career Source Escarosa, we've been able to hire a workforce development director, funded through Career Source, but she works here out of the chamber. And she's really sort of that connective tissue between the chamber, providers, universities, school district, and the business community, trying to bring those folks together so we can work on these issues. We're not going to solve the workforce problem. I mean, that's basically a numbers thing, but we can do some things that will help improve the situation. We've got economic development that we're really focused on. Quinn heads up our innovation and entrepreneurial subcommittee, which its goal is really to reach out to the entrepreneurial ecosystem and get those people engaged. There are a lot of folks out there with a lot of great ideas. They're passionate about starting up a business, but they don't know really where to go.
Yeah.
There are a lot of resources in our community, a lot of free or very inexpensive resources that folks just don't know about. And if we could reach out to them and bring them together to learn about these, programs that are out there, connect them and be a kind of support system for them.
Absolutely.
Something that could really, because we've got the quality of life, we've got all these great things that we love about Pensacola. So, why not start a business here?
Yeah.
So we want to make it as easy as possible for someone to do that. We have our new business roundtable, which is an effort to bring business leaders together to have a strong voice in support of economic development. Look at issues in our community. Where can the business community have a voice, try to make some change and improve some things so we can continue to grow. So those are some of the areas we're really focused and really excited about.
Yeah. So you've been in your role for almost 5 years now, and in the next 5 years, we'll be pretty close to hitting that 2030 mark.
Right.
So what have you accomplished in the last 5 years? What have you feel like we've maybe kind of come up short on a little bit, things you would like to see a little bit more progress on, and where do we have yet to go in the next 5 years?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question, just looking at the last 5 years. So, we went through COVID and everything associated with that. And, that was just such a time of uncertainty.
Yeah.
You didn't know how long it was going to last. You didn't know shutdowns or, modified, working conditions, virtual, all of that. So that, kind of slowed us down for a couple years in terms of, some of the things that we wanted to accomplish. But I would say starting in 22, you really saw people come back and want to, get together, be a part of the chamber, come to our events. All of our events sell out now. It's great to see. And there are so many groups, and we have groups that meet here at the chamber for networking and sharing of ideas and resources. But you see a lot of that around town now. It just seems like the community at large is really coming out, and there's just so much happening. But again, it's kind of taking those issues that I talked about, the workforce development, economic development, innovation, entrepreneur, and just we're kind of just on the front end of those, getting those off the ground. So in 5 years, love to be able to look back and say, because of our efforts, we were able to fill these jobs, whether in a specific industry or for a specific company. That's not as important as just, where do we need to fill in? Who can we help? What areas were we able to make an impact in terms of advocacy and moving some issues on economic development and, just being that, voice of the business community, continuing to bring people together to work on and solve problems.
Awesome. So again, you brought up, the members and the increased participation by them because of, us really honestly taking COVID for granted. We didn't realize how much we actually needed that human interaction, and it's really changing the way we do things. So share a little bit about the member benefits for anybody that's not currently a member and is deciding whether or not they want to be a member.
Sure. So we are 1,125 members strong, and, everything from our largest employers down to, single sole practitioner businesses. Mostly small businesses. So that's where we try to provide some resources and events for those folks, because for them, it's mostly about networking, connecting, and finding certain resources. So one of the really cool things we do if you join is our ribbon cutting.
Mhm.
And thanks to LECO, we've really made that into an event.
Yeah.
We come, we get there early. LECO sets up with some music, get the energy going. Our ambassadors come and they're there to kind of introduce the chamber
Yeah.
and talk about, what we do. And as we do the ribbon cutting, I'll say a little brief introduction, but the owner or the manager gets to do a little talk
Yeah.
and talk about the business, and then does an interview with LECO for about 10 or 15 minutes, just talking about the business, their hours, location, services, anything you'd want to get out there about your business. So,
Mhm.
I mean, that's the first thing we do with you. I mean,
Yeah.
and so we want to make that special. We want to make that something that you get a real benefit out of, and feel like, oh, I'm a part of something. I'm
Yeah.
not just writing a check and getting my name listed on a website. And we want you to feel like you're really a part of this.
Yeah.
But we do a quarterly event called Chamber 101. So if you're a new member, you come to that, you get to meet the staff, you learn about everybody's role here and what, benefits there are you can take advantage of, make sure that you're getting what you paid for. Every month we have our Good Morning Pensacola breakfast, first Friday of every month, Scenic Hills Country Club, about 125 people. We have a program, buffet breakfast, and again, great opportunity to network, get to know folks. And as a new member, you get to come up and do a 30, 45-second, elevator pitch on who you are, what you do, how to get in touch with you, that sort of thing. So that, it's really about providing those opportunities to get the word out about your business and to connect with other business folks.
Yeah, that's one thing that the chamber does really well, is not just providing very strong member benefits in the way of marketing, advertising, resources, but also connecting the members and allowing them to kind of figure out where they can plug in, who they can help out, and then, with those networking opportunities, being able to connect members to other members that they may not, have crossed paths with yet. So before we finish up, we played a game last podcast, and I think this is going to be a running thing. I think it went really well.
Okay.
We're calling it the Perfect Pensacola Day.
Oh, wow.
So now you run the chamber, so you really could do this if you wanted to, but the Pensacola Chamber is giving you the opportunity to have just a free-for-all in Pensacola for 24 hours. Anything you want to do, absolutely free. So we're going to run through some prompts. We're going to get your answers just so everybody can get to know you better, all right?
All right.
So most important meal of the day, breakfast. Where are you going and what are you having?
Wow. That is, wow. So probably another broken egg.
Mm-hmm.
And man, one of their great omelets.
There you go.
Yeah.
That'll make a good omelet.
Yeah.
Awesome. Now, you forgot to get coffee or tea with your breakfast. Where are you going to get your coffee or your tea?
Probably Bodacious.
Okay. Nice.
Or PJ's Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah. Great
Awesome.
chamber members.
Yeah. All right. Lunchtime. Where are we headed? What are you getting?
So lunch. Well, lunch is usually a little bit lighter, but I'm thinking this is a special day, so you could, kind of splurge if you want.
It's 100% free. Go wherever you want.
Right. Man, so many good choices.
Yeah.
So lunch. I mean, Fish House is just, right on the water.
Great view,
great food, great everything. So hard to beat Fish House.
Awesome. You got some time to kill before dinner.
Right.
What are we doing? You can do whatever you want. I mean, it could be Saturday and you could go to Palafox Market. It could be whatever you want to do.
Right. So, I mean, I love going to the beach, just getting out there and putting my earphones on, maybe reading a book and just, kind of escape a little bit. That's one thing I enjoy doing. Anytime there's, I get the opportunity to go to a Blue Wahoos game or Ice Flyers game. I'm a big sports guy, so those are always high on my list of things to do. And I mean, I love playing golf, and so going to Scenic Hills or Osceola, one of our great golf courses here. Always a great time.
Now, you mentioned reading a book. You got any good book recommendations currently, especially because it's a leadership podcast? Any good leadership books?
So the last book I read was one of Malcolm Gladwell's books on. It's about the bombers in World War II and how
Okay.
they had to figure out
Yeah.
some problems and
Mhm.
just sort of there's some leadership lessons in this
Yeah.
book. It's really interesting because it's a lot of problem solving,
Yeah.
so which is always a part of leadership.
Yeah. Okay. Dinner time. Where are you going?
Gosh, I mean, just one.
Yep, just one.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Uh Man, I just went to the district with some friends a
Mhm.
few weeks ago, and it's just always a
I've
great
yet to
steak.
go. I need to go. I've
You
heard
need to
it's
go.
really good.
It's really good.
Really good steak.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. All right. After dinner drinks, where are you going?
Man, um,
Putting you to the test.
right. So, probably the well.
Okay.
It's got a good chill atmosphere.
Yeah. It's really nice. I really like the atmosphere. I'm very big into like the, darker, like dark library, like greens and browns and that kind of stuff. So the well really kind of hits that.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah.
All right. Looks like the Wahoos and the Ice Flyers both play at home. Which game are we going to?
If it's a nice Pensacola evening, I got to be outside.
You got to be outside.
Yeah, enjoy the
Yeah.
fresh air.
For sure.
The view's amazing.
Yeah, I was telling Lico that, I would typically pick the Wahoos, but with as hot as it's been.
Yeah,
By the time this episode comes out, hopefully it'll have cooled down. If it doesn't
Right.
cool down by the time this episode comes out, we've got some problems.
Right.
Because this is coming out in October. So,
Gotcha.
but I'd probably go with the Ice Flyers, stay nice and cool. But,
Yeah, I get that.
All right. Now we got a midnight snack. So the Chamber was able to open every single restaurant, every single place possible in town. So we got a smorgasbord of like all of your favorite stuff. So we're just going to run through a list. All right.
Okay.
Favorite pizza?
New Yorker deli.
New Yorker deli, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't even know they had pizza.
Oh yeah.
I've had their
New York
sandwiches.
style. It's really good.
Those sandwiches, man, the meatball sub especially.
Yes, love the meatball.
I
sub.
try to avoid getting the meatball sub on a day that I'm working because by the time I finish it, I'm not productive the last half of the
It's
day.
time
It's
for a
not
nap.
possible. All right, favorite sushi?
Favorite sushi, Dharma.
Dharma. Yep,
Yeah.
that's what I said. Yeah. Favorite barbecue?
Favorite barbecue. Sorry, Eldon. I went to Jim and Nick's a couple weeks ago. It was really good.
Yeah. Jim and Nick's is really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite tacos?
Favorite tacos.
Or favorite Mexican food? Last time Lico said he doesn't typically get tacos, so I think
Right.
we'll open that up to Mexican food.
Right. What would be my favorite? I'd say Mama's Tacos. They're up
Okay.
on
Olive
Road up
Yep.
there. Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And last but not least, favorite burger?
Oh man, I love Tops.
Tops.
Yeah, my son and I go to Tops. He started school a couple weeks ago. We had to
Yeah.
go one last time before he started school.
Yeah. What did I have? I had a surgery. I can't remember how long ago, but I was out of it. And I said beforehand, before I was too loopy to even know for myself, I was like, someone take me to Tops, make sure I get a Tops burger. Because if I don't, I'll be upset.
Right.
And I remember they took me to Whataburger instead because Tops wasn't on the way.
I mean-
and I'm like, no.
I mean, Whataburger's
Like,
fine.
It's
but,
okay.
It's
It's all
not.
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I wanted Tops, man.
Yeah.
Well, Todd, thank you so much for doing
Yeah,
this
it's
and
been my
sitting
pleasure,
down
Mike.
and giving us a chance to talk to you and a little bit about what you see for Leadership Pensacola. For you Leadership Pensacola alumni out there, if you haven't paid your dues this year, pay your dues. Join the Facebook page. $40 annually. It's nothing. I mean, I might pay one. I might pay a year for somebody if you're lucky enough. So just let me know. For Leadership Pensacola podcast, LeapCast, I'm Mike White. Thanks for watching.